And Seth, if y'all want to ask Seth a question, ask him a question, and you can see how he answers. You're not going to throw him off, people. I know you're worried about it.
TikTok is asking where they can buy the book and what the name of it is.
Okay, the book is, oh, April's got one. Thank you, April. This is called Push Through It. It's a Seth Hanchey story, and the subtitle is how to find purpose in your pain. And there's a lot of helpful tips in there of what we did to overcome.
So where can they buy it? Is what
You can buy it on Amazon. You can get the ebooks on Kindle, on iBooks. It's also available in Barnes & Noble right now. It is in the tech bookstore as well. And then, yeah, the ebook's cool because it's got a lot of video hyperlinks in it too.
Yeah.
And all the pictures are in color.
I know. Oh, you've already seen that too?
Yes.
That is true. They're all in color. All of the pictures are in color, and for everything we talk about, whether it's him learning to walk, him crossing a finish line, and even like he had preached his first sermon like 5 months before called How Bad Do You Want It? And even the hyperlinks even to that. So any other questions?
They want to know, they didn't know Seth was run over. Somebody, if you want to give them a brief synopsis about.
Yes, he said yes.
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
You died
so
twice.
Seth was training for a triathlon, and he was 17. It was 11 and a half years ago. And you guys, we just showed the video, so y'all are
They
gonna hear
missed
this
it, yeah.
again. I'm so sorry. But he was training for a triathlon. He was on a 60-mile ride, and he was struck from behind by an 81-year-old lady in a van, and she did not brake till she hit him. It threw him over 160 feet. He landed on the highway, and he died at the scene twice. He was airlifted to LSU Trauma Center, where they removed the left side of his skull, and he is there. The helicopter, and they removed the left side of his skull to accommodate the swelling in his brain. He woke up from a coma 10 days later, and they took us in a little room across the hall from ICU and said he'll be perpetually vegetated. You needed to put him in an institution, and he would never care for himself, and it would be 24/7 care required, and we were not trained or capable. He had a trach, a feeding tube, and like I said, paralyzed right side. He could not do anything. He was dominant right-handed when he got hit, and he had to relearn everything on the left side, which was very, very weak anyway. I mean, imagine right now, if you go home tonight, just comb your hair, put your makeup on, brush your teeth. Just that, or just fix a can of soup, or do something with your non-dominant hand. It is a whole new world that you have to learn from. He did learn it. The cool thing is, the things that we do that are written about in that book, we did a lot of unconventional things. One of the things that I will say was really important was guarding the atmosphere of, like, if you're going through something and you're depressed, it's really easy to go through something that's painful, like your son laying in a hospital, and every day he might take a step forward in process of recovery and look like it's, oh, finally we're doing good, and then 10 steps back the next day. Setback, setback, set up, setback.
Yeah.
And so you have to guard your mind. And if you get in a dark place, like I said, it's easy when you go through something really bad, but when you're in a dark place, if you just listen to darkness, and if you just surround yourself with like sad music and turn the lights down and draw the curtains closed, you're not going to come out of that dark place. You'll stay there and give up on everything. And the difference is, like, create an atmosphere of positivity. Listen to something funny. Anybody that's around us knows we're very sarcastic. We laugh a lot. We cut up a lot. But we've learned to do that, because if you sit there and have your pity party, it's a very lonely life to have a pity party, for sure. So that's the way we overcome, is by that, doing it that way.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question?
I think just about brain injury. We didn't know anything about brain injury till it happened to Seth, and then we found out, and this is Brain Injury Awareness Month. So can you talk a little bit about how common it is?
Yeah, 1 in 7 will experience a brain injury. Now, if that's not you personally, that can be your friends, your relatives, because there's many different brain injuries that cause trauma. It can be a concussion, it can be a stroke, it can be, just especially like with our military. That's why we've started helping a lot and speaking a lot at military functions to bring awareness there, because a lot of our military, this is the number one thing they're coming back with. And so because it's so misunderstood and they don't know how to articulate it and they don't know what to say to explain it, because Seth is different than he was before the brain injury. We call him Seth 2.0, but the new and improved version. But if you understand they're different, the essence of who he is and who he was is the same. But there's a lot of things he does different now. I actually think he's a much cooler guy. He was cool anyway, but he's a much cooler guy now, April. I like him better. Yeah, and I'm Seth's mom, by the way, if y'all hadn't figured that out. I'm not his boo or significant other, which always grosses us out. He's single like a Pringle and
Ready to mingle.
And so, so the brain injury thing, if you're misunderstood, like a lot of our soldiers coming back, their family doesn't understand, and they think a lot of times they're putting on about like having a headache, or like Athena said earlier, something just about like the processing. Sometimes it's a little bit harder than other days, right? Well, there's this thing called neurofatigue. Neurofatigue is where your brain works really hard to learn something, or it might be something just from stress, and so you might find yourself a little bit tired. Did y'all ever had some of that? We call it brain fog, right? But for brain injury people, they actually have a term, and it is called neurofatigue. It's where your brain just gets tired, and it has to kind of take a breather and regroup, and then they're fine. And the interesting thing with Seth is anytime that's ever happened, it almost seems like he will take a leap forward in advancing, whether it has grown new pathways or what have you. So, does anybody else have a question? And what is your name?
My name? I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, you got to come in on the end. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, do you have a question?
No, I'm just here to learn and.
Okay. Well, does anybody else have a question?
Well, they're about Seth's head. They're asking about that on the side of his head.
Okay. So turn. So this is the side that they actually did the removal of the skull here originally, and it's called a craniotomy. It's where they take the actual bone piece off. The brain swells, and that keeps the person from dying and getting more severe brain injury. Then they replaced it. They replaced Seth. They actually cryogenically froze his bone.
Dun dun dun.
So, and they put his actual bone piece back in. Now, they have an artificial bone piece that they'll put in. His is not. That's his actual bone. Then they, put flat back over it. What's interesting is he had a area here that opened up. I don't know if y'all know how much he lifted in powerlifting. The powerlifting, he was lifting up to
425 deadlift.
425 deadlift.
315 bench press.
Or 325.
315 bench press, and what was the
Like
other?
a 325 squat.
No, it
No.
was more than that.
But it was several hundred.
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. And
Thousand
he
pounds.
was actually about to go break the record for Special Olympics and for powerlifting. Yeah. And then what happened is he had started leaking brain fluid. Like the pressure of picking up on that much weight is a lot. Well, he had started leaking brain fluid there, and they had to do a skin graft. and they took his main artery from here, and they took, this was actually part of the tattoo. So at one time he had a tattoo with a Grim Reaper on his head. I know, he did Snapchat filters on it. It was weird. I don't know what it said about that, but anyway. He had the Grim Reaper. It still did not completely close. It opened back up. So they took his latissimus muscle, which is this big muscle here, and put it here and ran the main artery into his carotid for that. So it would be a viable skin graft, but it's called a deep tissue skin graft. So that's how they close that up. So that's what happened to his head 3 times, not 2. Yeah.
And we're live on multiple platforms, so somebody on TikTok is asking about his language, and does anyone understand what he's saying when he speaks his language?
Okay, so some of us know what he's saying because there's some words we know what they mean now. But as far as his language, so when he died, he did walk to Christ. They had a conversation. It's a really beautiful story. You have to buy the book to read it because it's something that God showed me the night that Seth had died. Like we were in the ICU. They were telling us he was not expected to live through the night. And I went home. God showed me this vision, and y'all ain't hyping none of this. It really happened. People that know us know us. And I came back and shared it with my friends and family. I never shared it with Seth. He had come home from the hospital after being in hospital 5 months, and he began to tell us several months later that when he died, that he met Christ, and that he's really funny, and they're really good friends, and all of this. And there's a whole lot more to this story. I'm not telling it as beautifully articulated and written as it is in the book, because I go into great detail. And God gave him that language. So Seth can get his point across. And Sarah, you just got in here. So Seth can get his point across. If nobody was in here and he was just trying to talk to any of you, he would walk up to you and he'd just start talking to you. His language, he'll pray like that, but he talks to God like that. I encouraged him years ago, if you're going into a restaurant or something, talk in that language. Because that is the language that he talks in now with apraxia and aphasia. So most people that have a stroke and they have the apraxia or aphasia, they know what they want to say. Their intelligence is intact. They just can't get fully, fluently, like me, all of the words out. They know what they want to say. They can't get it past the disconnect here. So Seth uses his own language when he goes in to order food or talk to somebody, and he'll still get part of his stuff across, you know, what he's trying to say. But that's one of the reasons people follow us on TikTok or any of that, is because of that reason. He's showing you his list. That's his power.
Okay.
That's his weights that he picked up.
1,000-pound club.
Yeah. Yes, it's a lot. And he was still paralyzed on the right side when he was lifting that.
And why was he paralyzed on the right?
Because he was hit on the left side. That's where the injury occurred. Your left side of your brain affects your right side. Your right side affects your left side. The frustrating thing for Seth is a lot of people assume he's not all there because he's not able to fully communicate. So they just assume he's not all there. And that's been one of the hardest things. How frustrating is that for you to deal with?
Are you all there? TikTok wants to know.
No.
He's not all there? What? Huh? Hmm?
No.
And somebody on YouTube is asking if you could speak in your language.
All day.
That's his language. I know you are going like, what just happened? It's just because to us, we don't know what he's saying, but with most people with apraxia and aphasia, because they can't get the words out that they used to get out fluidly, they just give up. They stop, they don't ever try, they don't say a word, they don't say nothing. They stay locked inside this glass box, so to speak. So with Seth, I was like, people think you're foreign. Talk anyway, because he started, his brain started figuring out, I know how to get my point across, how I wanna order something at a restaurant. I know how to get my point across if I'm trying to talk to you. Like if you were in the gym or something, he'll come up to you and start talking. He can get his point across. But most people assume he's foreign. But it could have been that he just shut down because there are some people that do treat him rude. I'm not gonna lie, they treat him rude. Seth is very graceful and tactful, more so than me. But because I do sometimes give an education to people that are just being rude. Because I don't think anybody should treat anybody rude. I don't care what the reason is. There is no reason, right?
Right.
Because everybody has a story and everybody's going through something,
That's right.
right? Okay, what's another question?
Do we have any more questions here? Let me scroll through because there's a lot. When somebody just commented, Emily said that she just bought his book and she can't wait to share his story with her patients at work.
Oh,
wow.
good. Thank you, Emily.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, the book is $12.90. What is it on Amazon?
$12.97. And some
$12.97. Then you pay the shipping and tax.
Jennifer just asked, can you please tell us how to get the book?
Yes, go on Amazon and look for Push Through It, the Seth Hanchey story. The ebook is the one that it's only $4.99. It's got color pictures, it's got hyperlinks and videos, and the ones that are here today, we're signing those. So the hard copy. Some people like to fill a book.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, April, right there, right?
And Gypsy Soul Mama wants to know, how old is Seth?
29.
Oh, you
He
gotta
just
speak
had a
up. They
birthday.
can't hear you.
What? 29. Pow, pow, pow. Dead, yo.
How old is Gypsy Soul Mama?
Oh, I don't know. Gypsy Soul Mama, you
29.
wanna
He just had
tell
a
us?
birthday.
Whoop, whoop.
Just had a birthday.
Yeah.
So, and he was 17 when he got run over. He was 15 when he graduated.
Gumballs World 2020 asked, is he in any physical pain currently?
Are you hurting?
Yeah. Hearts.
Broken heart. Oh.
Anyway, and anybody that knows Seth, it's so funny because when we travel, we'll go in. We can go to Podunk, backwoods convenience store that is so little, and we walk in, and we've had so many people that'll be going, oh my God, Seth, that's Seth. And to me, it's just like, and they'll say something later, like, we just seen you and whatever, and we almost came up, but we got nervous. But we're just people. We're just people. I mean, there's nothing special about him at all.
What's the one thing that helped him to not give up? He is so amazing.
Oh, God. So, oh, God. Nothing. Mine.
Make your mind up.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
happy.
That-
Happy. Yeah, no. Mine. On to mine.
Like you gotta be open your mind and stay focused, right?
yeah. Raise up, yeah,
Get your mind right.
yeah.
And he works hard to do that. He like guards his, even today, I mean, these days, he still guards his atmosphere. A lot of people ask,
TV, movie, this, yeah.
a lot of people ask, like, is he independent? Can he cook? Can he do? Yeah, he's independent. He can do anything. He can do anything you can do, but you can do it better, right? That sound?
Yeah.
We have questions about his physical therapy journey. Can you talk more about his process through physical therapy?
Okay. So the physical therapy, we did a lot of things unconventional, out of the box, not medically, like, we didn't do a lot of things that other people do. And like working out in the gym, walking, things that he couldn't walk when we started walking. And I planned a 5K a year after coming home from the hospital, that he was gonna do a 5K on his birthday. And he wound up, I said, look, I'll push you around in a wheelchair. but if I got to, but we're gonna do a 5K for the Brain Injury Foundation. So he ran a 5K. They said he'd never even walked unassisted, and he ran a 5K a year later. Yeah. So I know y'all didn't know this was showing Kale. Y'all already seen the video.
Is he still into powerlifting?
He is so bummed that he cannot do powerlifting. However, he is back in the gym and he is doing, what do you call it? He's trying to get into what, bodybuilding or just getting,
Yeah.
just trying to get buff like me? Hey.
Yeah, sure.
So he's still in the gym. He walks a lot. I call him Forrest Gump. He literally will like walk. I don't know how he does it, but he will walk.
10 miles, like.
Yes, and he can drive. Yes, he has his own truck. People ask about his tattoos. He did not start getting the tattoos till a year after his accident, and it took a year. All of it is his story, his testimony of God raising him from the dead, and he preached his scripture the night before to the youth, and it's Romans 8:28, and it says it's all good, because that's what he would say. He started his day out with that. So this is just, all of this is his story, and he's got one here, that he got right after it.
That's
Yeah.
his favorite one.
That's his favorite.
You're not gonna show him your favorite tattoo?
Oh.
That's his favorite. Look that way and they can see you, like, he's choking out Grim Reaper. I know. That's actually my favorite. It's kind of funny. But that's what
This
he
is
looks
hard
like
to-
with hair. And now he's got hair all over his tattoos. But so he got that one after he competed at the USA Games. Yeah, and then that's the scripture: "A death, where's your sting? A grave, where's your victory?" Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
They're asking on TikTok if you are his sister.
No, but thank you for the compliment. No, his mama. I'm his mom. Yeah. Yes. Is there anybody else with questions? We're about to shut it down. Y'all good? All of you newbies that came in, y'all got like the last little bit. I'll just tell you, if you want to go watch his video, there's a QR code on that banner that's out front and on the back of the book. It'll take you to the website. At the top of the page is a link to the ESPN video story. He is the centerfold in their 10th anniversary of the Body magazine, which is cool. He's the only one wearing clothes. Everybody else is butt naked. And so that's, yeah, I'll tell y'all a funny story as we get out of here. So when ESPN was at our house shooting for the video story, the other people that are over the magazine actually called while they were shooting and told me they wanted to put him in the magazine, their 10th anniversary magazine. And I was like, oh, that's cool. We're not sports people. I didn't even know what the Body magazine was. And so I hang up the phone and I tell the producer there, hey, they just called from the Body magazine, and he's like, wow, that's like the most prestigious magazine because it's an annual edition and they only put the elite athletes in there from, all over. And he said it only comes out once a year, and this is their 10th anniversary they're doing. Well, I said, oh, that's so cool. And he said, you might want to look that up. So I pull it up on the internet, and I literally audibly went, oh my God, these people are naked. And so if they're a basketball player, you can't see their danger zones, y'all. But they're butt naked. And so the basketball players are rock climbers. I mean, you see, they're rock climbing, but they're naked.
Yeah.
And I know y'all look like I did. That's exactly the look I was like. And the basketball players are like, they're in the free form, trying to jump and all that. And
Hair up there, huh?
yeah, but you can't see, you just know they're all nude. And so says the power lifter. So I'm sitting there going, what kind of pose are they gonna put him in? Have they seen him? What are they gonna do, So the mom and me was a little freaked out by all of that.
Yeah.
But he actually is the only one in the home magazine, I think, wearing clothes, except for a couple ads.
Yeah.
So,
And they caught him praying.
Yeah. And they're asking on TikTok if he can pray before y'all.
Yes. And if y'all, he does pray at the end of every TikTok, and if you guys do not feel comfortable with that, of course, y'all can step out or whatever, but he does a short prayer at the end of every TikTok. He does it in his language, because that is how he talks to God. Yeah.
We're taking up donations for them to keep their clothes on.
Yeah. So we're gonna pray right now. And if y'all ever run into Seth, don't be shy. Y'all come up and give him a hug. He loves to hug on people, pray for people.
Money.
Uh,
No, he will
Negative.
try to charge you. No, just kidding. He will not. But just make sure you come up, because we love to meet our Team Seth family for sure. But thank y'all for being here today, and you want to come over here so you can pray real quick
Yeah,
for the
sure.
people watching on
Yeah.
TikTok and YouTube.
You're good right there.
Okay.
Yana mara karana poko, ya karana I kara poko yeke. Mara I kara mara hui karana poko korika. Mara I karana poko kara poko yeke. Pofo I kara maru kara kara. Pofo I kara nana I kara la moka yeka yeke. Pari kara nana pofo. Pari kara nana kaka. Pofo I kara mara I kara raka. Tadana I kara la. Pari kara nana. Maru I kara la maru ke. Tisika maruhu, Marika, Marika, Marika. Amen.
Amen. That's what's up.
Bye, guys.